Okay, so magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Again, ako po si Mr. Fernando Sigabio Rosete, your instructor here in the subject strategic management. So our reference for this subject is this, no? Strategic management made simple by Young. Okay, this edition is published year 2015. So the chapter 1 is all about the strategic management model. So what are the learning outcomes you are going to achieve, no, at the end of this lecture? So first, you have to define strategic management. Second, identify each of the components of the strategic management process and its corresponding outcome. Third, we have identified the strategic management model. Fourth, differentiate strategic analysis from strategic decision making and strategic intelligence from strategic thinking. Fifth, we have explained the meaning of strategic planning. Sixth, formulate a sample company vision, mission, and company goals and objectives. And lastly, you must compare organization climate and organizational culture. Okay, so we have this word dynamism. So what is the reality of dynamism? So please refer with your material uploaded in our Google Classroom in order for you to follow my discussion. Okay? So when we say dynamism, it is the process by which the firms or businesses continually born, fail, expand, and contract as some jobs are created and others are destroyed and others still are turned over. No? When we say dynamism, it's all about dynamics, no? Pabago-bago, no? Sabi nga dito, today's milieu is in a state of fluidity. It's not static, but rather fluidity. When we say fluidity kasi, parang tubig yan, di ba? Tuloy-tuloy, no? Tuloy-tuloy yung pagbabago. That is why it is considered fluidity, no? Yung in today's milieu, yung state ng ating mga businesses or firms. So, karamihan siguro sa inyo nagtataka kung bakit meron kayong subject na strategic management. Ang course ninyo is customs administration, okay? Pero kasi ang customs administration is business-related course. So that is why strategic management is injected in your curriculum. So part po ito ng curriculum ninyo, no? Business course kasi yun, ang customs administration. Okay, so that is dynamism, no? Dynamic. Then we have competition, no? Competition, no? Hyper. But ano ba yung mga katangian ng mga sinasabi nating hyper na tao? So, napakataas ng energy, di ba? So, pag i-connect natin sa business yan at saka sa mga business, sa mga firms, no? Hyper competition means mataas yung level ng competition ng mga businesses at ng mga firms. So, hyper competition. So, techniques used like pricing adjustment, increase in marketing efforts, and product improvements is or are rapid, no? Yung kanilang kumbaga yung halimbawa sa ating sitwasyon ngayon, pandemic, no, COVID-19, napakataas ng competition sa production of different health related products, like for example yung alcohol, di ba, yung face mask, yung face shields, no, and so on and so forth. So napaka-hyper ng competition, hyper competitive or hyper competition ang nangyayari sa atin ngayon. Yung mga competitors, no, yung mga iba't ibang businesses, talagang nagkakaroon sila ng labanan, no, in the business sector. Okay, so let us define first what is strategic management. So strategic management is a continuous process of strategy creation. It involves strategic processes like strategic analysis and decision making, okay? Strategy formulation and implementation, strategy control, no, with the primary objectives of achieving and maintaining better alignment of corporate policies, priorities, and success. Okay, so iisa-isahin natin. Okay, again, ang strategic management is continuous process of strategy creation. No, alam niyo yan kahit sa mga laro, 'di ba? Pag tayo naglalaro, meron tayong mga strategy na tinatawag. So the same with the organization or in business. So strategic analysis, it consists of systematic evaluation, of variables currently existing in the external and internal environments. Is analysis, assessment. No, you have to analyze what are the different factors or what are the different variables na nakapaligid mismo sa mismong company, sa mismong business, sa mismong firm. It can be internal, okay, or it can be external. Okay, so when we say strategic analysis, we are talking about the internal and external factors here. Okay, so when we say external factors, labas, no? Labas ng company. Ano ba? Yung environment, no? Yung other people, no? When we say internal factors naman, yung mga stakeholders sa loob, yung mga employees, no? Yung ating rules and regulations, no? And so on and so forth. And then we have strategic decision making, no? Deliberately bringing together the right resources for the right markets at the right time. No, you have to isa business sector, napakahalaga ng decision making. Okay, so napakahalaga yan kasi when we say business, it's all about taking risk, no? It's all about taking risk. And then we have strategy implementation. Implementation, no? Employing the crafted strategies to achieve organizational set goals and objectives. Okay, then we have strategic control. When we say control, no, you have to apply. It is the application of an appropriate monitoring and feedback system. So when we say control, it is monitoring and feedbacking or feedback system. So define is the science of creating, executing, and evaluating cross-functional decisions to enable an organization to achieve its goals and objectives. The components of the strategic management process have to be effective. Okay, so ano ba yung tinatawag nating strategic management process? So please refer to the material I have uploaded in your Google Classroom. So ito po yun, no? Siguro mas magandang din-download nyo yung material para mas maintindihan nyo. Okay, so ito po yung figure na yan. So in this figure, it is what we call the strategic management process. So we have two rows, no? On the first row, we have strategic analysis. Define natin yan kanina. Pag meron ang ibig lang sabihin nito, kapag merong strategic analysis ang isang company, ma-achieve niya ang strategic intelligence. So what is strategic intelligence? It is the capability of an organization to possess relevant and related knowledge, abilities, foresight, and systems thinking such that it is able to assess its own strengths and vulnerabilities, no? Strategic intelligence, correct thinking, no? So sa isang company, kinakailangan ng isang sa isang strategy, no? Sa isang strategic management, kinakailangan ng correct thinking, no, tamang pag-iisip. So paano natin ma-achieve ang strategic intelligence, yung tamang knowledge? Through correct analysis. Okay, next. We have strategic decision making, na-define natin yan kanina. So, kapag ang company merong magandang decision making, ano ang ma-achieve natin? Strategic thinking. So, what is strategic thinking? It is the cognitive process of competently and analytically weighing factors and arriving at critical decisions in the context of the current milieu of which an organization is part. Diba? So, nabanggit ko yan kanina, when we say decision making, napakahalaga niyan sa business. So, when you have a good decision making skill, then you are going to achieve that. This is what we call strategic thinking. No, it is the cognitive process of being competent. No, of being competent. And then we have strategy formulation. Nabanggit natin yung kanina. No? So, strategy formulation, uniquely designed and effectively communicated. No? Organizations have greater possibilities of attaining organizational competitiveness. Kapag meron tayong magandang formulation ng strategy, ma-achieve natin ang organizational competitiveness. So, what is this? It pertains to the ability of any business or company to utilize its resources optimally and sustainably for maximum performance and productivity. So, ang mga business firms or company, no, meron silang mga quota yan every day, every week, every month, or every year. No, if we have good strategy formulation, then our company will be competitive. So, when we say competitive, kaya nilang i-control, i-manipulate yung kanilang mga resources. No, halimbawa, nagkulang, no? Kung sila ay merong organizational competitiveness, kaya nilang i-handle yung mga ganyang klaseng situations. Okay? Then we have strategy implementation. Na-define natin yan kanina. Kapag ang isang company ay merong strategy implementation na maganda, no? Maganda ang pag-i-implement ng strategy, magkakaroon siya ng comparative advantage. So what is the meaning of that? It refers to the ability of an organization to produce a particular good or service at lower marginal and opportunity cost than its competitors. Kasi 'di ba, paano nagkakaroon ng advantage ang isang company sa kanyang competitor o sa kanyang kalaban kapag mas mura, 'di ba? Mas less ang expenses. Kasi when we say less expenses, more production, therefore more profit 'yon. 'Di ba? So that is what we call comparative advantage. So kailan natin ma-achieve yan? Kapag mayroong magandang strategy implementation. So mag-refer lang kayo doon sa material na in-upload natin sa Google Classroom para mas maintindihan niyo ako. And then lastly, we have strategic control. Is productively monitored organizations can realize strategic performance. Pag mayroong magandang strategic control ang isang company, anong ma-achieve niya? Yung magandang performance or strategic performance na tinatawag natin. Kailan natin masasabing magandang performance ng isang company? Kapag na-achieve niya, di ba? Or na-accomplish niya yung kanyang mga set goals and objectives. Yung quota, halimbawa yung quota, na-achieve. That is what we call strategic performance. So, the definition of this is the accomplishment of a high level of productivity that is characterized by efficiency in the context of lean and quantifiable management. Okay, no? So that is the strategic management process. So if you have questions, you can ask me in your group chat, no? Para mas magkaintindihan tayo kung mayroon kayong mga katanungan dito. So what is a strategic management model? Again, please refer to your materials. Ito yung strategic management model. You have your organizational input, the process, and then the output. Okay? So, what was the input? Ano bang, sa isang company, when we say input, sino ba yung mga nag-input dyan? We have the management or employees, financial resources, facilities or equipment, infrastructures, and processes. So, sa middle box naman is yung procedure, yung processes. Ano ang under niyan? Strategic analysis, decision making, formulation, implementation, and control. Diba? Nabanggit natin yung kanina. Ano-anong alit yung mga yon? Yung sa gitna, those are what? Definition or those are strategic management. Those belongs to strategic management. And then, we have organizational success. Diba? Nabanggit natin yung kanina. Kailan natin masasabi kapag successful yung organization? Kapag mayroong strategic intelligence, thinking, organizational competitiveness, comparative advantage, and strategic performance. Okay, so yan yun, no? Nakalagay siya sa strategic management model. So kung may question, again, paki-chat na lang sa group chat natin para masagot ko. And then next, we have strategic planning. Okay? So, oftentimes, the word strategic planning is more popular than strategic management, okay? So, there is a difference between strategic management and strategic planning, okay? So, when we say strategic planning, it is defined as a continuous, repetitive and competitive process of setting the goals and objectives that an organization aims to attain, defining the means to achieve them, and assessing the best way to realize them in the context of prevailing environment while measuring performance through set standards and periodically but continuously conducting reassessment. So, napakahaba ng definition ng strategic planning. Ang ibig sabihin lang yan, it is the setting of goals and objectives. And what? Also, achieving them or those. Okay? So ano ba yung mga properties, no? Ano ba yung mga properties na ini-exhibit o pinapakita ng strategic planning? First, it generates the blueprint of what the organization intends to accomplish. Pinapakita nito kung ano ba, no? When we say blueprint, di ba guide 'yun, no? Kung pinapakita nito kung ano ba yung dapat na ma-accomplish ng organization. Number 2, we have 9 okay? Number 2, the strategic plan presents the grand scheme of the organization and outlines all the set activities ranging from the organizational to the departmental level. Okay? It formalizes all plans with respect to type and extent. Kasi ang planning, we have two, so mamaya madidiscuss ko yan. We have long range plan and short range plan. Number 3, it is the process of developing a strategic fit between the organization's goals and capabilities in the context of changing opportunities, no? So it is a continuous development. Number 4, it is a process that involves carefully delineated steps. So it takes, when we say planning, we are talking about in a step-to-step basis process, no? Number 5, it must be proactive. So you are going to formulate your strategic planning, no, not for making your decisions for the future, but rather what? For anticipation, no, of future changes and developments. Ang strategic planning, hindi siya ginagawa as reference kung ano ang magiging decision mo sa future, no, sa bukas. Kundi what? Ito ay ginagamit para ma-anticipate mo kung ano ang mga mangyayari sa future. Number 6, it is a philosophy because it evolves a dynamic way of conducting and managing an organization, di ba? Hindi mag-ooperate ang isang organization. Even ang isang tao, di ba? Kapag walang philosophy in life. So lahat 'yan meron dapat. It links the organizational plan with functional and operational plans. So it is, when we say strategic planning, it has two types, no, of planning: the organizational grand plan and the departmental tactical plans. Organizational grand plan, ang planong ito ay para sa kabuuan sa buong company. When we say departmental tactical plans, though that plan is specifically, its purpose is for that specific department only. Number 8, it is intricately interwoven within the defined managerial functions of organizing, directing, staffing, and controlling. So, in other words, no, hindi ma-accomplish ng isang leader or ng isang manager ang kanyang responsibilities kapag na-overlook niya yung strategic planning na tinatawag natin. Okay, and then we have number 9. Lastly, so please refer to your material. So habang diniscuss ko, dapat hawak niyo yan. So because we are in this kind of situation, so we have to adjust all. Number 9, it necessitates the leadership and support of top management at the same time employee participation and commitment. Of course, 'di ba? There must be synergy. So when we say synergy, yung cooperation from the top management hanggang down to the rank and file employees. So kailangan ng collaboration diyan, collaboration and cooperation para ma-carry out ang success ng strategic plan na ginagawa natin. Okay, so may question, kung may question sa group chat again. Next, we have two types of strategic planning. We have one, medium or long range plan. So, pag sa medium and long range plan, ang plan na ito ay may context from 3 to 5 years or 10 or more years ang plano, no, para sa company. It describes the major factors or forces that affect the organization's long-term objectives, strategies, and resources required. Number 2, we have annual or yearly plan. No, short term. Kung kanina yung long range, ito yearly plan, it means every year, no? So it is short term plan, no? describes the organization's present situation. It goals and objectives, strategies, monitoring and mechanisms, and the budget for the year ahead. So we have the different steps involved in the strategic planning. No, it is iterative, cyclic, and integrative. So this includes, okay, ito yung mga different steps in formulating strategic planning. Masyado ba mabilis? So ganoon talaga. Okay, number 1, making situation audit to ascertain where the organization is today. You must assess, no? You must assess nasaan na nga ba ang company natin ngayon, ang organization. Saan siya? Ano na ang situation niya? Anong lagay? Anong status? Okay, you have to audit. You have to assess. Secondly, stating the respective goals and objectives of the organization, the values and value systems it espouses, its business definition, and its corresponding strategy statements to determine where it wants to go. In other words, for short, you must identify the goals and objectives of your company or organization. Number 3 step, delineating appropriate strategies to be carried out in order to help direct the organization to where it wants to be. So, yung tamang estratehiya, after identifying the current situation of your company, you must identify its goals and objectives, and of course the right strategy to be used. No? Number 4, identifying and then choosing the soundest strategy. So nabanggit natin yan, to determine the best way for the organization to be where it wants to be and to achieve its goals. And then number 5, monitoring the implementation of strategies to measure performances and conducting periodic. And number 6, conducting periodic and continuous reassessments in order to implement improvements and suggested changes. So number 5, you have to monitor, no? After you implement, you have to monitor, no? Especially yung mga performances measures. And then number 6, you have to conduct continuous assessment or reassessment or audit, di ba? Kasi kahit sa business, it is a continuous learning. It is a continuous reassessment. Kasi diba ang business, hindi yan stable eh. Hindi stable. Maaaring sa baba ka, maaaring sa taas. Hindi porket nasa taas ka ngayon, lagi ka nasa taas, diba? Pwede kang ma-fall. Okay? Okay, so bakit ba kinakailangan ng strategic planning? Why is there a need for strategic planning? Anyone? Okay, so katulad na nabanggit kanina, no? There is a need for strategic planning because there is the reality of dynamism, no? Yung complexity and at saka hyper competition which is characterizes in today's environment. Okay, so ano ba ang strength at limitation ng strategic planning? So, strategic planning defines an organization's vision, mission, and set objectives. It provides organizations the opportunity to assess the milieu and specify strategies to achieve their goals. So, through strategic planning, ma-achieve ng isang organization, business, or company yung kanyang set goals and objectives. Okay? Pero, meron pa rin itong limitation. Bakit? No? Some company who created or formulated a strategic plan in some instances are good only for papers or paper, no? Yung mga nag-formulate ng mga strategic planning, papel lang. So hindi nila totally na i-employ, no? Hindi nila totally nasusundan kung ano yung nakasulat doon sa kanilang strategic planning. So yun yung limitation. Yes, strength yan ng company kapag ito ay na-employed ng maayos, no? Or fully employed. Pero nagiging limitation niya kapag in paper na lang yung inyong ginawang implement or nasa in paper na lang yung mga pinlano ninyo. Okay? So, nabanggit kanina yung vision, mission statement, goals and objectives. No? So, ano ba ang kaibahan nung Yang mga yan. So, those are interrelated or interconnected. You must remember that, class. So, when we say organizational vision, it is an inspirational statement of what the organization hopes to achieve at some point in the future. No? It is the image of what an organization desires to achieve. Yung vision. Diba? Lahat ng business, company, meron yan. No? Even our school, Northern Zambales College, meron tayong vision. Diba? Ito yun kung ano ang gusto mo mangyari sa company mo in the near future. Okay, so, very self-explanatory yan. Then we have mission statement. So, when we say mission statement, differs from the organizational vision because it defines the current purpose of an organization. It answers what the organization does, for whom it is done, and how it does what it does. Okay, ang component ng mission statement, organization does, for whom it is done, and how it is done, what it does. Okay? Kung ano ang current situation ng company, yung ginagawa nila ngayon. That is the mission statement. So when we say goals and objectives, organizational goals are pursued to make the specified strategies succeed. They vary and are essentially dependent on their respective purpose and direction. So it implies the basic goals of an organization. So in fact, goals represent the overall vision. Okay? When we are talking about the vision, goals represent the overall vision of the organization. By their very nature, goals have the following properties. Ano ba yung mga properties daw ng goals? Ano ang kaibahan ng goals at ano ang kaibahan ng objectives? Ang goal po ay mas general. When we say objective, mas specific. So ito ang goal. You have your goal and then you have your specific objectives. Okay? So what are the properties of goals? First, goals provide organizations focus and direction. So yun. It must converge toward the purpose of any firm, thus streamlining all unnecessary and redundant consideration. Siyempre, we are talking about the goals and objectives, no? The purpose of the specific business or firm or organization, di ba? So, kailangan, diretso lang. Number 2, goals move organizations to action. Yes, by implementing it, no? Number 3, goals develop in organizations the trait of persistence. No? Organizations continue to persevere until they achieve their desired success. Yung persistence, di ba? Hindi titigil talaga ang isang company, no? Ang isang business hangga't hindi niya na-achieve yung kanyang set goals and objectives. So, katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, goals are supported by objectives. So, they should possess the following characteristics. Ano ba ang characteristics dapat ng objectives? No? First, objectives need to be clearly defined and formulated, carefully chosen, specific, and definite. Number 2, objectives may be immediate or short-term. Kailangan ma-achieve agad-agad. Hindi siya pwedeng good for 10 years yung objective mo. It must be short-term. Number 3, they need to be prioritized into a hierarchy of objectives. So, kung napakaraming goals niyan, napakaraming objectives, then you have to prioritize kung ano bang uunahin mo. Objectives need to be realistic and attainable, of course, yes, di ba? Kasi kung magsaset ka ng objective or ng goal na hindi naman makatotohanan, therefore, that is useless. So, they need to be flexible, consistent, and strategic. Number 5, objectives need to be measurable over time. Bakit kailangang measurable? Measurable para malaman natin kung hanggang saan na yung na-achieve natin based doon sa set goals and objectives. It must be measurable para alam natin kung achieve na ba. 'Di ba? Kasi you cannot measure a thing that is not measurable. Diba? You have to measure, kailangan measurable siya para makikita natin or ma-assess natin kung na-achieve na ba talaga or hindi yung ating set goals and objectives. So, meron figure dyan, figure 1.4, please refer to your uploaded material, no? Yung relationship between organizational goal and objectives. So, strategic objectives, back again to objective, no, are in general, nabanggit ko na yan kanina, externally focused. According to Peter Drucker, 2008, objectives fall into 8 major classifications. So, meron daw 8 classifications ang objective, no? First one, market standing, no? Ano na ba yung current situation or status ng ating mga produkto sa merkado? Number 2, innovation. Yung development ng bagong produkto, services, skills and methods required to supply them. We have number 3, human resource, no? Yung mga taong gagawa, sino bang gagawa nun? Number 4, financial resources. Number 5, physical resources. 6, productivity, yung efficient use of the resources relative to output. Social responsibility, of course, yung awareness and responsiveness to the effects on the community of the stakeholders, di ba? Especially yung mga company like yung mga medyo apekto sa kalikasan natin. So they must be aware of their social responsibility. Dito sa atin sa Masinloc, di ba? Yung sa San Miguel na dating AS. So they must have social responsibility. Nakikita naman natin ngayon, di ba? Yung pagbibigay nilang ng mga rasyon, di ba? Ngayong pandemic, no? So sa kanila, continuous pa rin yung magbibigay eh. Then we have number 8, profit requirements. So achievement of measurable financial well-being and growth. So that is the 8 major classifications of strategic objectives. Okay, next, we have last 2, the values and the value system. Ano ba ang kaibahan ng dalawang ito? So, values are generally exhibited in 2 different ways. We have beliefs and attitudes. Okay? When we say values, it is exhibited in 2 different ways, beliefs and attitudes. So, beliefs are cognitive manifestation. Beliefs are cognitive manifestation and attitudes are characteristically behavioral. So, nakikita sa action, sa gawa. Okay? It is an inherent roots of motivation within an individual, an organization, a community, or a nation. That is values. Makikita mo yan sa isang empleyado, no? Sa isang company, sa isang community, or sa isang nation. So, ano ba yung value system naman? So, kasi values is specific eh. So, when we say value system, it is characteristically broader in scope in general, no? Aside from values, it includes other variables. So, hindi lang values ang pinag-uusapan dito, such as organization's dream, aspirations, interests, expectations, philosophies, leadership and management styles, and ethical practices. So, pag sinabi natin values, it is specified on the belief and attitude of the employees of that specific organization, a community or nation. Pero ang value system, hindi lang values ang pinag-uusapan, kundi mayroon pang dreams and aspirations, philosophies, expectations, interests, leadership and management styles, and ethical practices. So, napakaraming nasasakupan niya. So, yun ang kaibahan ng dalawa. Okay, last part, no, to end this, we have organizational climate and culture. Ano ba ang kaibahan ng dalawa? So, when we say organizational climate, it is often defined as the regular and repetitive patterns of attitudes and behavior exhibited by employees of an organization. Uulitin ko, ang organizational climate ay yung pattern of behavior, no? At attitude na pinapakita ng mga empleyado sa isang organisasyon. On the other side, organizational culture denotes a wide range of social phenomena, including an organization's customary dress, language, behavior, beliefs, values, symbols of status and authority, myths, ceremonies, and rituals, and modes of difference and subversion, all of which help to define an organization's character and norms. So, ang organizational climate, it is specified on the attitude and belief of a specific employee. In organizational culture, it is on the wide range social phenomena of an organization. Okay? Ulitin ko, when we say climate, specified sa empleyado. When we say organizational culture, ang point of view ay nasa organization mismo. Yung kultura ng organisasyon. Okay, so in summary, vision projects the image that an organization wants to attain. It is reinforced by the mission statement that specifies how the organization intends to actualize this vision. Thus, goals and objectives are clearly enumerated. Furthermore, any organization has its own value system that inevitably becomes part of its organizational culture. Okay, so that is the end of the chapter 1 of our subject, strategic management. Chapter 1 is strategic management model. Again, so expect your quiz next week. So I hope you have read the material I have uploaded in your Google Classroom, and please watch this discussion video from the start up to end. No, wag kayong magja-jump, wag kayong magka-cut. So I will be giving your quiz next week. Ang basihan ko hindi lang po itong aking video, but also the material uploaded. So para maliwanag, no, baka kasi magkaroon naman ako ng murmur dyan na, sir, wala naman sa diniscuss mo tong question na to, bakit andun sa quiz? Again, ang reference natin, this video and the material I uploaded in your Google Classroom. For questions, no, and clarifications, mag-message kayo sa group chat natin. Okay? So, yun lang. Good day again, and thank you.